Hi everyone, Miss Loomis here. Today I wanted to share with you some simple machines. This is something I like to do in the classroom with my children every spring. So I'm going to share a slideshow. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what a simple machine is, and we're going to get to make some of our own at the end. So a simple machine is any device or several devices with few or no moving parts that are used to modify motion and force in order to perform work. What that's really saying is these machines help us to do our work easier. So let's take a look at some. The first one we have is called an inclined plane. What an inclined plane does is it acts as a ramp to help us move things with less effort. The second simple machine is called a wedge. The wedge, kind of like our axe here, helps to break things apart or create a divide in them. The third simple machine is called a lever. We'll get to talk about a lever a little bit more in a minute, but what you need to focus on is there's a focal point that will help you to move the object. The fourth simple machine is the wheel and the axle. I bet you guys can recognize the wheel and the axle. This one, the most common one you see is with your cars driving on wheels. But you also have a wheel and axle in every single doorknob around your house. The fifth simple machine is a screw. A screw has all of those spirals going down a slope, kind of like the inclined plane. One of the most common we'll see of the screw is the lid of a jar, just like the peanut butter jar or the spaghetti jar. And I'll show you a couple more examples as well. The last simple machine is a pulley. A pulley uses string and a wheel to help lift and lower things. So let's talk a little bit more closely about the inclined plane. An inclined plane is a slope or ramp that makes it easy to lift something. So going back to our example of the man lifting the box into the truck, he's using the inclined plane to be able to make it easier to get the box in the truck. Some other common inclined planes are ramps that you might see off of a deck or in a building, a slide that you might go down at the park, even the stairs that you might have in your home can be considered an inclined plane. The next was that wedge. A wedge is made of two inclined planes put together, and it's used to push objects apart. So we had an example of that axe, but a few other wedges that you might find around the house could be a shovel that you use to dig out in the dirt, or a door stop to help keep the door open, or nails while you're building. The wheel and axle. So wheel and axles are used to carry loads around easily, sometimes for long distances, and to help with less effort. So as we said, the wheel and axle that we might be the most familiar with are the ones that are on our cars. There's the axle, the rod in the middle, and then the wheels on each end. As we said in the beginning, doorknobs have the axle and the doors act as the wheels. Some other common wheel and axles that you might see around your house would be a part of your bicycle, or the steering wheel of the car, or if you've ever been to a fair, the Ferris wheel is a wheel and axle. Another simple machine is the lever. A lever is a rod which would be this plank here, fixed on a point that can help lift a heavy weight with less effort. So if I had a box on one end of our plank here, we could push down on the other edge to help lift the box easier. Some other common levers that you might see in your everyday life would be a pair of scissors, tongs that you might cook with, or nail clippers when you have to push down the lever to open and close the clippers. We also have the pulley. This is the last of our 6 simple machines. Pulleys use wheels and a rope to raise and lower or move a load. So if you can see the example with our bucket here, the bucket is on one end of the string and it's going up when we pull the rope down. The wheel is helping to move the rope up and down. Another example of this is the flagpole. If you have ever seen the flagpole outside the front of the school, it uses a pulley system to raise and lower the flag. Some other common pulleys are cranes, the drawstring of window shades, and an elevator. So if you've ever been on an elevator, you have experienced the pulley system. Oh, here's another one, the screw, I forgot. A screw is an inclined plane wrapped into a spiral, and you see all of these spirals going around the side. We said that the jar and the lid was one example of a screw. But have you ever looked at the bottom of the light bulb or seen a screw that they use in building? Those are also examples. So now it's time to make some of our own. I'm going to give you a list of things that you might have in your house to be able to build some of these simple machines. To make an inclined plane, you're going to need a stack of books or a stack of blocks or anything that can help you to make a ramp to go down. For a pulley, you're going to need some string, a clip or a wheel, and something to pull up. And I'm going to demonstrate these in just a minute. For a wheel and axle, you're going to need a wheel or something with a round hole in the middle, and a stick or a pen to act as the axle. And to make a lever, you might have a spoon or a thick marker and a cork. So let's try some of these things. I have all of those at my table here. The first one I want to share with you is the inclined plane. So remember, I said a stack of books. Here's my stack of books. And the inclined plane makes a ramp. If I turn one book on its side, and I have a ball or something that can roll, it goes down the inclined plane. All of that force makes it go down very easily. The next one I said was, I don't remember, but we're going to do a lever. For a lever, I said you would need a spoon, a marker or a cork, and I brought something that can show you what the lever can do. So I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to place it on top of my marker. And I'm going to use my little cat toy, my little mouse, as the load, the heavy object that I want to move. Once I push down on the bottom, watch to see what happens to the workload, the mouse. It went flying. With only a little bit of effort of me pushing it down, I was able to send our load all the way across the table. That's how a lever works. The next one I want to show you is the pulley system. This one's going to take a little bit of work to set up. For this one, you're going to need string, some sort of clip or wheel to put it in, and something to lift. So I had tied my tape as my piece to lift. So let me see if I can get the camera to show how my pulley system will work. Okay, so I have my clip here and my pulley with my string. It's gonna, the wheel part, which is being used as my clip here, is going to help me to pull the load all the way up when I pull the string. Did you see my tape start to come up to the top of the table? I'm gonna let it go again. Let's see. If I pull it up, pull it down, up comes my tape. So you can try creating your very own pulley system at home. The last one I want to show you is the wheel and axle. And in order to do this one, you'll need your marker and something that can be a wheel. It could be anything that has the hole in it that you can create your axle and your wheel. So the way this one's gonna work is I've put the marker through my wheel to be able to roll it. This is my wheel and axle. I want to invite you to look for the simple machines around your house. Attached with our Daily 5, there are pictures of things that you might find around your house, and you can compare them to the simple machines that we've talked about here today. Happy hunting!